This is Alpha. Let's continue our conversation from last time. Where is Trump heading? The consequences of Trump's policies. Let's continue to analyze the last question, solving the financial deficit. What are the consequences of being able to do it or not being able to do it? Let's first say that it can be done. The results of doing it are obvious. If the real problem of fiscal deficit is under control and the problem of debt stock is resolved through negotiation. The United States also has a long-standing friendly environment that supports entrepreneurs to innovate. Then it can be said that another golden age of America has begun. For investors, after a foreseeable and not short transition period. After the negative effects of Trump's policies on the economy have been eliminated, this is a once-in-a-lifetime investment opportunity. Let's talk about what will happen if this thing fails. First of all, the definition of failed includes failure, partial completion, and all other unfinished situations. This question is a little more complicated. Let's first talk about some known difficulties. First, time is not on Trump's side. We have already introduced some background information. Reform must be done while the iron is hot. Trump's legitimacy is public opinion. If he misses this period of public patience, long-term high inflation and economic recession will divide the people who support him. This will create a gap between Trump and his team, and these resistances will seriously undermine Trump's authority. Don't look at Trump's cabinet now. Everyone is showing their absolute loyalty to Trump. But when public opinion changes, this loyalty may no longer be so absolute. Second, it is very difficult to control the increase in debt. In the last issue, we talked about how tariffs account for a very small proportion of fiscal revenue, and the ceiling for incremental growth is very low. We cannot rely too much on tariff policies to ease the fiscal deficit. So whether the fiscal deficit can be reduced in the short term depends mainly on the effect of reducing federal spending. Here I will mainly talk about the internal pressure to reduce government spending. We have seen that the Government Efficiency Department and Trump have done a lot of work in this regard and cut a lot of expenses. But the last time Musk and Rubio had a direct clash at a cabinet meeting, we can see that the current results of cost reduction are still far from Musk's expectations. If we use the efficiency requirements of a company to measure the efficiency of the government, I think it is incomparable. After all, the boss has the final say in the company, and there is nothing wrong with the boss being a dictator. Employees are motivated by benefits, and will be fired if they don't comply. Often, the boss can achieve the desired result through mutual screening between the company and the market. But the Federation is different. It can often be screened by the mutual screening between companies and the market. The boss of the Federation is not a specific individual or a board of directors with the same goal, but the votes in the hands of the people. The Federation is about checks and balances. If federal employees need to obey a certain voice and do whatever it takes to achieve a certain performance goal. When efficiency comes first, we will do whatever it takes to achieve a certain performance goal. What the people need is a government that can meet both their material needs and their spiritual aspirations, rather than the highly modernized society in brave new world. From my limited understanding, efficiency and checks and balances are inherently contradictory. So I think superficially that improving government efficiency is a good thing, but where the boundaries are is important. Governance and businesses are different. Entrepreneurs have clear and simple goals, and everything is for profit. But the president must first treat the people as human beings. There is a difference between entrepreneurs and politicians. Work is work, life is life. Mixing these two things together will cause big problems. We have seen many such historical disasters in history. On the other hand, cutting government staff is like cutting off one's own arm. From a human perspective, no official would try to reduce his or her power and influence. Imagine that you are the head of a department. The Government Efficiency Department has set a goal for you, at least cut half of the staff. Think about it, you just took this position not long ago, and you have to cut the staff in half before you even get comfortable in the chair. But if the workload is not halved, how can the work be done by half the staff? You have absolutely no idea what to do. If there is no problem, it is the credit of the Government Efficiency Department, but if there is a problem, it is your own fault. Officials all want to expand their teams. Who would take the initiative to cut off their own hands and feet? So the layoffs themselves are an irreconcilable conflict between the government's efficiency department and the ministers. Musk may be too young and too simple. He is thinking about how to cut costs. But ministers are guided by their butts. Okay, so here comes the question. Who will Trump support at this time? There is no doubt that Trump is the most powerful minister among these ministers. Although it is a good idea to cut spending, you cannot be the commander alone. Musk can only be wronged a little and the ministers can have more power. There is no better solution to this problem. If people lose their morale, it will be hard to lead the team. Third, let's talk about tariff policy. The recent intensive tariff policies have aroused public anger and are facing external pressure from all sides. According to our analysis above, it is not a smart approach to launch tariff policies at the same time. Maybe it's a quick decision to minimize the duration of the adverse effects of this uncertainty, or it could be a tactical strategy. So I think there is a lot of flexibility on this issue. The purpose of tariffs is not only to increase revenue, but also to stimulate the return of industries to the United States. But uncontrolled tariffs will immediately lead to counterattacks from opponents. Tariffs are a double-edged sword. You punch me, I kick you. There is no end in sight. I remember when Trump was running for president, he said, "Tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary." Just listen to what Trump says. If tariffs were so useful, so how come his predecessors didn't discover such a beautiful word? Are they all illiterate people who can't look up words in a dictionary? The only real solution to increase fiscal revenue is to make the economic pie bigger. There is no doubt about this. It would be strange if one could get rich by collecting tariffs. Let's discuss further how much effect tariffs can have on industrial repatriation. This statement is actually very controversial. Take Trump's first-term tariff policy as an example. Related research reports point out that tariffs have not had the expected effect on industrial repatriation. I don't have the relevant professional level in this area, so I can't explain this issue clearly. I don't know if I can understand this problem from the following perspective. Regarding the return of industries, this is a long process. Investors must at least confirm that the policy is stable during the payback period. For example, if we build a new car manufacturing plant, assuming the payback period is 7 years. However, it is uncertain whether the United States will continue such tariff policies and preferential policies for industries after Trump's 4 years. This is something no one knows. The reality is that if we look at the current product cost competitiveness, the cost of many goods in the United States far exceeds that of similar goods abroad. If we lose the benefits of the Trump administration's policies, we will lose the possibility of surviving in the market. This will not allow the industry to return to the United States quickly and without scruples. Therefore, I think the short-term effect of tariff policy is to increase fiscal revenue and achieve trade balance as much as possible. Large-scale industrial repatriation is impossible in the short term. It does Trump no good to think he will play a protracted war on tariffs. Inflation will rebound significantly in the short term, and public support is closely related to this. It will also damage the friendly image that the United States has built up internationally and among its allies over the years. Being attacked from all sides like this will put Trump under tremendous pressure. This is a situation where the risks clearly outweigh the benefits. Trump and his team could not have foreseen this outcome. So I am sure that the use of high tariffs is a strategy of Trump, not the ultimate goal. In the short term, as long as we can achieve trade balance, we will win. Therefore, there is a lot of room for flexibility in tariff policies. Fourth, let me talk about the main difficulties during the transition period. We mentioned above that the only way to make America great again is to make the economic pie bigger. We naturally refer to the period before this goal is achieved as the American transition period. We have analyzed the pressures we face both at home and abroad. Simply put, we should give the industry as much time as possible to return and grow while maintaining domestic public support. Then all the key points are concentrated on one issue. How long does it take for an industry to grow bigger and stronger? From the above analysis, we know that the return of industries is a particularly difficult and long-term process. Because the production cost in the United States is too high, it is almost unprofitable. Tariffs are a double-edged sword and cannot be used without restraint. Under Trump's strong push, some entrepreneurs can make a gesture to support Trump. However, the nature of capital is to pursue profits. It will naturally flow to places where higher profits can be obtained. It will not change its direction because of the ideas of a powerful person. Will not change direction because of the ideas of a powerful person. But from Trump's point of view, to make America great again, we must bring industries back to China. Okay, that makes the problem much simpler. How to quickly achieve industrial repatriation is the top priority of Trump's policy. Given the current state of the domestic manufacturing industry in the United States, it is impossible to achieve this goal in the foreseeable future. Previously, Bridgewater's Dalio said that the United States cannot compete with China in manufacturing. He will never see American manufacturing catch up with China in his lifetime. He is talking about a reality, and also expressing another message. This is Dalio's own estimate of the speed of technological change. Based on the current direction of technological development, it is reasonable to speculate that the next industrial revolution will be a manufacturing industry with lower costs. The next industrial revolution is a manufacturing industry with lower costs, which can completely free people from manufacturing. Speaking of this, I remembered the speech that Vice President Vance gave at an entrepreneur gathering a few days ago. He talked about the relocation of industries, saying the government would relax regulations, lower tax policies, and encourage entrepreneurs to innovate technology. We can clearly feel the Trump administration's desire for technological innovation. Let us imagine that when AI is deeply integrated with robots, small nuclear energy technology is maturely applied, and other technological advances are made. This will completely reshape the global manufacturing landscape and the competitiveness of the U.S. manufacturing industry. This will allow the U.S. manufacturing industry to return to its glory days without having to rely on issuing debt to support the country's operations. America will undoubtedly usher in another golden age. Imagination is always beautiful, but the question is, when will these technology trees be lit up? Almost everyone believes that it is impossible to complete the task in the short term, say within 3 to 5 years. It will take longer for mature and economical applications to be realized. If the future evolves according to this timetable, the American people will face a long transition period. During this period, people can no longer live as comfortably as before. We can't even rule out the possibility of an economic recession, which will put people under greater pressure in life. Will public opinion turn around at this time? Trump's approval rating is still quite high. If the difficulty of this transition period is far beyond everyone's expectations, the instinctive reaction of human nature will most likely cause a sharp drop in public support. At present, it is clear that the American people are not prepared to live a hard life. Next, we will deduce the possible results. One possibility is that the economy is gradually going downhill, boiling the frog in warm water. But people can still live a decent life. Public support can also maintain the advancement of policies. Amidst the ups and downs, the people and the government finally made it through this transition period. The dawn is coming, and the economy has entered a new cycle. Another possibility is that some unexpected events caused public support to plummet. There is a major split within the Trump administration, and policy implementation has encountered serious resistance. Trump now faces two choices. One is Trump's smooth turn under pressure. Some policies need to be flexible, and can no longer be pushed forward. We can only pass on this political ideal and political legacy to future generations. The other is to end up in division until the end of Trump's term. During this long period of garbage time, the government has no clear route, and the transition period will be further extended. So is there another possibility? Under Trump's guidance, Americans have made a leap in their thinking, and the hard-working blood of their ancestors has been awakened in the American people again. We worked hard, pioneered and innovated, overcame material difficulties, and passed prosperity to future generations. We were united and held high the Trump banner, and finally ushered in a new golden age. This picture is so beautiful that it is unimaginable. Finally, let's imagine an unlucky outcome. If Trump has accomplished everything he could in the past 4 years, but everything is ready but the east wind does not come. During these 4 years, there was no revolutionary technological innovation in the United States, and the golden age he wished for did not arrive. However, the people are suffering in the economic quagmire, and the United States has entered a historical low period. Should we blame Trump at this time? I don't think he should be blamed. 2. Accomplish great things. Human ability alone is not enough. We can only say that it is difficult to defy God's will, and no one dares to guess what God is thinking. This concludes my thoughts and deductions on Trump's policies. Just treat it as an open-ended reflection on Trump's policies and current situation, without involving other issues of Trump or his personal morality. These events are my personal views on the main storyline, which are very limited. Please criticize and correct me. Okay, let's stop here for now. Personal perspective for reference only. Please think critically.